Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I decided to make a video talking about my labor and delivery story. Now I know that I had my son
5 years ago.
and well, going on 6 years ago because it'll be 6 years on May 4th this year. So, I felt like why not tell it, because even though it was 5 years ago, I still remember it like it was yesterday. So I just wanted to do and let you guys know what happened and what I went through, because I had a few crazy moments that happened, during the delivery and after as well. So yeah. Okay, so this is like I had to write it down, so I might look down sometimes to look at my notes, but this is, and I know I was gonna do makeup and everything, but I just decided to just do it naturally, no makeup, hair kind of flying and everything. So I could go ahead and get this video done tonight, because I just got finished editing a video, and I know I'm going off topic, but I just got finished editing a video that took me 3 hours to freaking edit. But yeah, that's neither here or there. So let's just get right into the video like I already said. Okay, so May 3rd, 2014. Me and my mother went, well, let me just preface it by saying my due date was May 4th, 2014. And yeah, so let's just go back to that. May 3rd, 2014, I went to my mother's house to go for a walk. She had already been like, okay, do you want to stay the night with me? So just in case anything happens, she was saying that a week before my due date, and I was like, no, because I had been doing workouts. I had been doing everything to try to get my baby to come on out. And he just did not want to. Like, he did not budge. Like, I was like, not even a centimeter dilated at this point. So May 3rd, right, like I've said multiple times now, me and my mother went on a walk around her neighborhood, and just trying to walk the baby out, do something, be active. So, we're doing a little walk around her neighborhood, and I was just like, I cannot. Now, let me preface this by saying I do not, and I know I'm going to get some hate for it, but I really don't care, because I am not advising anybody to do what I did. And, if I ever have another child, I will not do this, because I just will wait until my baby is ready. But I was like, okay, I'm just going to go to the hospital and tell them that I'm having pains. And, so my mom was like, she would go up there with me. And so we went to the hospital. This is around I want to say we went to the hospital around maybe 11 o'clock, 12-ish. And they, put me up on, as soon as I came in, I went through the emergency room area. And as soon as I came in, they automatically, if they see you're pregnant, then you automatically go to the 3rd floor. So they sent me on up to the 3rd floor. And, I got hooked up to a machine, the little thing they put on your belly and everything. They hooked me up to all of that. They monitored, the baby and myself. And, they walked out for a little while. And then my mom, well, it had been like a while, like maybe an hour. And my mom had noticed a skip of a heartbeat, like, it was a little skip. And she immediately called one of the nurses back to the room. And when they came in, they were like, oh my gosh, yeah, I see exactly what you're talking about. But this is what I was being told. So they were like, you're going to have your baby today. And I was like, oh my God, I was not expecting to hear that. And so once they said that, they were like, we're going to take you up to a room. And they were like, we're going to induce you and prepare you to have this baby. So once I got induced, they noticed, like, you know, after maybe an hour or two, they noticed, like, you know, it wasn't really progressing. I was maybe like 2 centimeters dilated. So they said they were going to try this thing called a Foley bulb. I think that was what it's called. But yeah, they tried a Foley bulb, which is like a thing. I am not the best at explaining it, so I'm going to look it up really quick. Okay, so yeah, it says a Foley bulb or Foley balloon is a catheter-like device that can be used to get the cervix to soften and open when labor needs to be induced. The catheter is inserted into the cervix and filled with a saline solution. So yeah, that's basically what they did. They did that. They put that up in me, and it was a little pressure, but you know, it wasn't that bad. And they tried to, you know, get me to dilate a little bit more, and I think I dilated maybe like 2 more centimeters to like 4 centimeters. And I'm sorry, you're gonna hear my phone on and off throughout the video, but I dilated like maybe 2 centimeters more. And you know, they were just like, okay, you're just really not dilating much at all. Logan was obviously being very stubborn and did not want to come out. He's a typical Taurus for sure. Even, you know, before being born, he was a typical Taurus. But yeah, he was just being very stubborn and did not want to come out. So basically, the doctor came in and he was like, you might have to have a C-section. And I was like, oh my God, no. No, I wasn't like that. But the doctor came in and was like, you might have to have a C-section. And I was just like, okay. You know, I didn't really think about all of that before going into, I never had a birth plan. I never, you know, planned any of that. I just wanted everything to happen how it was going to happen. And so I was kind of, you know, taken back when he said I was going to have a C-section. And I was just like, okay, you know, whatever is going to get my baby here safely. This is what I'm thinking. But really, I just said, okay. And, the nurse was like, no, we're going to wait it out because there might be a little more progression. We're going to work with her, but we're going to try everything we can before we do a C-section. And, you know, she was just really advocating for me to do this without having a C-section. I'm so thankful for her. And I still remember her name and everything, but she just really was, you know, standing up for me and saying, no, she's not going to have a C-section. We're going to get through this, you know, without going to that extent. So yeah, they gave me some kind of meds. I can't remember the name because it's been 5 freaking years, but they gave me some kind of meds, and it just had me like, because I was having really, really bad, what do you call it? Contractions. I was having really, really bad contractions, and they gave me some kind of medicine that really helped to like ease me and like make me not hurt as much. Basically what it did was help me sleep, because I went to sleep, and at this point, after all of this, it was like, you know, really late in the day. And so the medicine had me like in and out. I ended up speaking with my husband over FaceTime because he was over in Afghanistan at the time. Unfortunately, they did not approve for him to come back home for our son's birth. But also the hospital unfortunately would not let me film, well, basically would not let me FaceTime him while I was giving birth. Why? I don't know. It's kind of stupid to me, especially if it's that type of case, like where your husband is overseas in Afghanistan and he wants to be there for his son's birth, but he physically cannot. due to a military. Yeah, but like, I feel like they should allow you to at least FaceTime your partner so that they can see their child being born. But unfortunately, it was a no-go for both him coming home and the FaceTime. But I did FaceTime him a little bit before I had our son. And after talking to him, like, I kind of was like in and out of sleep. I was basically like, it was helping me not feel the pain from the contractions because they were hurting so bad. But anywho, the next morning, I just remember waking up, and I remember them saying that we were going to try to, practice pushing so we can get prepared for Logan to come. And I felt like, I honestly don't know how long I was practicing on pushing, but I literally felt like I was practicing for hours on top of hours on top of hours. Like, it was so bad to the point, like, my arms were killing me. I was falling asleep while I was trying to, practice pushing. Oh, and also, I don't want to skip over this, but I did get an epidural, but I still felt every single contraction that I had. I felt it. They were very painful. At first they were manageable, but as the labor progressed, it got worse. And I'm just sitting here trying to push, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like thinking to myself, how freaking long is this gonna take? I thought maybe, after pushing for so long, he would come out. And I got tired of people kept saying, the nurse and everybody kept saying, oh, I see his head a little bit. I see his head a little bit. And, my cousin, thank God for her, and my mother was in there, my cousin and my mother. But my cousin kept getting a cold rag and putting it over my face, and that was what I needed. And, my mom was there helping coach me and, motivate me to keep going and keep pushing and be strong. And like the last freaking minute is when the doctor came in, and I was like, okay, he's here, so the baby must be coming. And sure enough, right after he cut me, I got cut all the way down to my hiney hole. After he cut me all the way down there is when Logan fully came out, and my baby was officially born at 4:53 p.m. And I couldn't be any happier. I was so happy when they laid him on my chest. I cried a little bit, but I was just overjoyed, and I was just so excited. I couldn't believe that I was a mother finally. And this was the moment that I had waited for my whole pregnancy. I was so excited, and so happy that my son was finally here. So yeah, that is pretty much, my labor and delivery story. But there are some complications that happened after, while I was in the hospital. I'm sorry I keep saying but there was some things that kept happening as far as I got a fever in there, and I think I had a 102 fever, and I didn't feel like I had a fever, but every morning, after 3 days, you're supposed to go home. I had to stay an extra 2 days because my fever would not go away. Every morning I would be freezing cold, freezing cold. And then every night I would be super hot and sweating profusely. And at the time, and I did not know that my iron was super low. And they did not tell me that in the hospital. I found out after that when I went to my follow-up appointment. I was told then that my iron was very low. and that was causing like the imbalance, along with, you know, the what do you call it, like me being super hot and then super cold, along with me having a fever as well. That was not helping the matter. But yeah, that is pretty much what happened to me, and I had to stay in there an extra 2 days. But at the end of the day, I was just so happy. I was honestly ready to go home with my baby, but you know, I wanted to also be healthy and able to take care of him and, you know, do what I needed to do for him and not be sick. But yeah, that is pretty much my labor and delivery story. I know it wasn't as elaborate or, you know, fancy and planned out like I wanted it to be, or like other people's videos are, but this is 5 years later. So every single detail, I don't like, I remember the big details. I don't quite remember like the small details as I would have if I had told it 5 years ago when I had just had him. But yeah, that is my labor and delivery story of my now 5-year-old, soon to be 6-year-old son. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something from this video. And I hope you enjoyed it. So thank you so much for watching. If you aren't already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can join my little family and watch my vlogs or my sit down videos like this, or lifestyle videos. I do a lot of different type of videos, so just go ahead and subscribe to my channel so you can check those videos out. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter, on Snapchat, and on Instagram if you want to. At Thejessicamorgn. It is always in my description box below. The links are always in my description box. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.